Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. I guess we can call this episode 2, even if this is just going to turn into a couple of spotlights of the game. So far so good. Spent 2 hours and 45 minutes kind of getting established. There is some problems, I would say, that look fairly out of the order here. In just a few hours between when I last played and now, they have already found a gym purchase error where you have to have the Steam overlay enabled, which while in game, that's kind of a problem. The Steam overlay in all games kind of sucks, so I could definitely see a reason why you wouldn't want that enabled, and generally I try to not enable it. So the major thing we learned in the first spotlight is don't purchase these bundles all at once, because you're more than likely going to unlock a lot of secret packs, and the secret packs only last for 24 hours. Now I have 16 hours potentially to get like 1,000 gems ideally, which isn't too hard, to get 10 packs of this to guarantee at least one super rare. And then more than likely I will not be able to buy any of these other secret packs. Do these secret packs really matter? I don't know, really. But it is quite a scam. I imagine these secret packs will unlock again after the time unlocks. So what you would probably do is at some point we'll get, as long as we're continuously getting gems, which it is possible that we do all the main setup quests and then all of a sudden you have no more real avenues to get gems, and by the time there's a new expansion that you would just have to pay for more gems, or you're just going to be left behind. But yeah, what I imagine would happen is you would buy either 1 pack or 10 packs of this, so maybe have 20,000 gems ready before you even open 10 packs of this, and then that opens up a few secret things. Like, you might very well just want to go 1 pack, 1 pack, 1 pack, but then you miss out on the at least one super rare chances, and I don't think you would want to go that route. Let's start this with a duel, and then we're going to look into solo mode. So we played a test tutorial game at the very beginning, and we played one actual ranked game that I very easily got halfway towards a victory, and then the opponent conceded. Which, that does mean there's a concede button. Yeah, there's a surrender button here. Surrender is kind of a rough phrase to use. And he's already doing something kind of crazy with his cards. Let's see. Witcher Shimter. Tribute this card, then discard 1 spell. The special summon Witchcrafter monster from your deck. So now he's already got a 2800 defense monster on the field. So this guy clearly knows how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Better than the first guy. Once per turn, you can target 1 monster in your graveyard, shuffle it. If this card is on the field, is destroyed by card effects, and all monsters in the extra monster zone to the graveyard. I guess we'll set that like that's something Okay, well. Activate effect. Send that to the graveyard. And send that to be destroyed. And then they'll counter it with this, which this resolution may destroy this card, but not actually destroy the resolution of the effect. So that was actually stupid of them. In Yu-Gi-Oh! Particularly, you have to be careful about that. Destroying a card is not the same. See if we can activate this and see what that does. Okay, banish this one. Is that all we have to banish? And then that one. And then put that in face-up attack position. And then once per turn you can banish one card from your hand, banish one monster on the field with attack less than or equal to this card's. And what is this one's attack affected by cards? No, I don't think so. So it's just summon. And then apparently we could special summon this if we wanted to for 1200, or this for 1000. But I don't think you'd want to do that. Don't know particularly what I'm doing, but I'm doing it well. Yeah, I really find that aggro kind of just works. Like, it seems to work in Yu-Gi-Oh! Fairly well until we start getting to real players that actually know how the cards work. We may be stuck in the defensive loop now. Let's see what Spool Code does. Declares an attack while you have 3 or more Cyberverse monsters in your graveyard, and negate the attack. You can then special summon. Alright, so we want to just set this as something. And then I guess, let's see, proceed the battle phase and see if this does 1200 damage to me. No, but it does 400 damage to me. But now I know. Yeah. Life points are always a resource in any card game, so you don't want to be too precious about them. But wasting 400 life points, it can also be a huge mistake. The problem I'm seeing here is he's playing some strategy for defense, and unless there's a next step to this, he doesn't feel like he can do much. Alright. I guess I couldn't... I can't activate this until someone does a direct attack, which... Can't do a direct attack. until you have something else to do. And I think that effectively means I can't do anything else, so normally I think you'd put this in defensive position, but might as well just leave it in attack position. That again would waste another 400 points, because if he attacks this creature, which I think he has to, and I'm a little foggy on the rules here. Can he do a direct attack? I don't think he can. Alright, that powered it up a lot more. Let's see what else we can do. Send one other card, spell trap card you control the graveyard, then destroy something on the field. Let's just set that as a trap and then in the turn, since we can't do anything else. So we're really hoping that this card works with these cards towards a long-term success strategy. We might very well see a lot of competition playing ranked at the lower tiers. It usually takes at least a little while for the really good players to play enough games to get up to the high ranks. You're not going to win one game and immediately be at Platinum Tier 1. So there is a limiting factor here as far as just how fast you can get there in just the number of games you have to play. So yeah, it's an overall game clock, whereas turn clocks would make a lot more sense, because if you're starting at somewhere around 470 seconds, that's a lot of time to just do absolutely nothing if you wanted to. Why did that not activate? I needed to have 3 monsters on the field. Okay. So what do you lose when you lose? This is good information to find out. Nothing. You get some things that move you up in your duel pass even if you lose. So theoretically, if you just had very little time and wanted to grind to level 100, you could just play to lose as fast as possible. And even at a loss, they just jumped me from rookie tier 1 to bronze tier 5. So I moved up anyways. Yeah. And yeah, we got level and XP from that. So you can't lose for trying even. Alright, let's start looking at the solo stuff, because that's the thing to pay attention to. We'll go ahead and take 8 card crafting points for rare cards. And we are 50 gems short of 1,000, which once we find out what we've already accomplished here, we'll probably write over 1,000. There's another 100. And what was that for that we just got? For just dueling, we got another 100. I'm really hoping that these dailies reset fairly quickly, though. And they seem like they may reset at local time, midnight, or somewhere around there in the United States, instead of, say, Shadowverse, the game I'm playing, that resets the dailies in the middle of the afternoon because they're on Japanese time. So, destroy the card in ranked, and activate a spell in ranked 5 times for this daily. That might take a little bit of time, but not a lot, really. You could play 4 or 5 games, and as long as you're actually playing, you would get those done. That's definitely a lot easier than demanding victories. And then, what did we accomplish? I activated 1 spell card for another 100. And we've reached bronze, so now we have a bronze tier quest, which that gave me now a new quest at the top here to now get to silver, to get the silver avatar ring. And if I crafted any card, I'd immediately get a 50 ultra rare. And if I dismantled any card, I'd immediately get 50 crafting points for super rare below ultra rare. And it's fairly easy to realize that, since you have kind of a pearlescent color on ultra rare and just a gold color on super rare, but I could see some people being confused on that. It takes too long for this main screen to realize that they are done, that things have updated. So we can do the secret pack now, and the question to ask is, how much of a trick and scam is this to just get you to keep on buying and buy more and buy more? Can you possibly get more secret packs, opening packs for a secret pack? We're looking for these featured cards, of which I think there's about 80 of these. When 4 of those are guaranteed to be the featured packs. Otherwise, you're drawing from just the default pool, it seems, of 6,750 different cards, which is quite a lot of different cards. Yeah. If anything, Yu-Gi-Oh! As a card game could probably use a reboot at some point to clear out a bunch of cards and get rid of them, but the power creep in Yu-Gi-Oh! I think is a little bit higher than most collectible card games, so old cards tend not to be that useful. Something that had 1,000 attack in the first release of cards would have been pretty decent for that first series of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, and now would be pretty useless. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Is much better on making every single card have some real value and synergy with other cards, so there really aren't that many duds, even looking at a list of 6,000 plus cards. If a card has no special effect, it at least is of a particular class that would still synergize with something. So yeah, let's try this. So far, this looks exactly like the same opening sequence. We know we're going to get 8 cards, whereas the bonus packs that we got only gave us 2 cards, which that seems really odd. If you're going to give me only 2 cards, you better tell me that those 2 cards were running through some algorithm to make sure they were the 2 cards you really needed, and that the game is cheating in my favor. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous because you can open... So, like opening 10 packs is very potentially going to open 10 more secret packs, and it's just going to keep pushing you down the road of these limited time offers. At a certain point, you may just have all the cards in a specific secret pack, so it may not be worthwhile. I assume these are the 4 special cards, and that's why they're called pickup cards, because they're designed to pick you up and make you have a better deck for the specific most recent expansion. Although I guess in this case it may not have much to do with the most recent expansion, it may just have to do with that theme. Clearly are a lot of cards though, so it's not super surprising here that everything says new. At the very least, that is a duplicate. At the very least, Konami should be less scumbags, and if you're already opening the secret decks, instead of unlocking more secret decks, you should be getting bonus decks at that point, because you've already bought in. You don't need to once again try and get more money out of me. There's upselling, and then there's insane upselling, and this is getting too much into the category of insane upselling. And when you start playing any collectible card games, they usually start you off with a decent amount of cards and card packs to get used to it, but I wouldn't be surprised if a month into playing this game there's really no more avenues to get free gems, or you're getting very small amounts of free gems. Any attempt to like save up, say, 50,000 gems for the next expansion that I assume is going to come about in like 60 days or so, since that's the longest time we've seen on the storefront. Yeah. That alone may be a struggle. This is a very old card, like first generation card. I recognize it. I think I recognize that one too. And this is what we're looking for. Definitely. Yeah. I suppose it's worth mentioning that Valve themselves, since I'm playing the Steam version of this, tried to make a game, a collectible card game called Artifact. They tried to release it in 2 different form factors, and they failed to get anybody to really want to play it in the long run. Part of the problem there was it was just too off the mark, too different. You were playing basically 3 games at the exact same time in parallel. That's very ADD. One of those secret card packs that we got was the Infinite Void, which was already unlocked. So we actually only unlocked 2 new ones. And now I can't buy that same deck anymore. Interesting. The Infinite Void is down here at 23 hours. I almost wonder if what happens here is every time you buy any of these secret packs, you get another 24 hours. But even that really wouldn't work, because you'd have to just every day log in, buy at least one pack of these to get another 24 hours to just keep it unlocked for really no good reason. Otherwise, it's just keeping these cards in the chronological order of its expiring. Right. So now if we looked at like these feature cards and then we clicked number owned, we can see it's probably not best to open another 10 packs of the secret pack. It wouldn't be terrible, but you are going to start running into some duplicates. That being said, you may just start running into duplicates no matter what you do. So that's maybe not going to be too much of an issue. And going through a list of all 6,750 cards to see how many you own is ridiculously going to be a waste of time, because you're going to scroll by 30-40 cards to see one that's lit up that you have one copy of. Alright, solo time. The game was fairly bad about explaining itself in the tutorial. It was also fairly bad about getting you into a game fairly early after the tutorial game. And there's definitely still things here that I just don't understand. Like, I have no idea what these symbols mean. They kind of feel like a different color orientation, light, dark. I don't know what the orange versus the red would be though. Earth, water, fire, grass type, I assume. So it's probably light is weak to dark, and dark is weak to light, and then earth is weak to fire or strong against fire. I never get them right. And then water is strong against fire, and then fire is good against grass, and then grass is good against dirt. But I don't know what these numbers here would mean, so I don't know why they're there. Learn how to summon special monsters and useful techniques in duels. Alright, let's do this next tutorial. So, yeah, seems like you have a branching path where you can practice, and you probably want to do that. And then you finish out the goal, and we'll probably get some reward for that. If we clear this, we get one card, and you have to play with, let's just play with the starting deck. We can also, I guess, look at the opponent's deck if it wanted to, but like, it's probably not really worth your time to look at these decks. These are going to be very simplistic cards, first generation cards. I recognize most of these, and I can see by their attack and health that they aren't doing anything super crazy. Yeah, you can definitely tell with Yu-Gi-Oh! Though that there's going to be problems trying to learn all of the cards, abilities, and actions, and you really don't need to know what a card does, because there's going to be a lot of cards that just never get played and you don't play them, so it doesn't matter. Field spells. I had forgotten field spells existed, so I guess that might explain one spot on the play mat that maybe gets explained a little bit better. Yeah, I don't feel like there was a lot of emphasis on field spells, but they would go there now that I think about it. What is tribute summoning? This method is used for summoning monsters level 5 and above. You must tribute a certain amount of monsters on your side of the field in order to perform this summon. The amount depends on the level of the monster you want to tribute. Summoning setting monsters level 5 and above also requires a tribute. As you only have one normal summon per turn, you are not able to tribute summon if you've already performed a normal summon for the turn. Which really then that should just say you have only one normal or tribute summon per turn. I think you probably could summon through Synchro Summoning or Fusion 2 things per turn. But we'll have to find out later. So for a level 5 or 6, you need 1 card. For level 7 or above, I don't know why there's a little squiggly mark. That's not the right symbol. It should be 7 or greater. Or 7 dot infinity sign would work too. So yeah, this is where you put field spells, I guess. Let's see. Just go and set that. And so you set this spell, because it's a field spell, in that point. Okay. So I was even playing field spells and not realizing what they were. Does this spell stay? I guess. Set that like it's a trap. And this is kind of your standard start to Yu-Gi-Oh! Some of these definitely just have lore written in their description instead of being effect monsters, and you learn fairly quickly that if it has an effect, it's red bordered, where if it's just a normal monster, it is brown bordered. So now I got some extra defense, and he played a spell to destroy the card, which arguably that's why you don't just play cards willy-nilly. Let's see. Target 1 face-up monster. Your opponent, it loses 1,000 attack for each monster you control. Okay. Still wouldn't help. Once per turn. This is a permanent 1,000 reduction. Of course, the problem with that is if you're going to use that effect, it had to be placed face up, so yeah. Now, is this scripted, is the question we want to ask here. Am I getting specific cards that are the right cards, or am I just getting random cards? I may be getting random cards. Highest defense. Right. Don't think this one can attack, but I guess it can. But yeah, you can see how a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just tit for tat, destroying a monster, bring in a monster, which I kind of appreciate that more compared to, say, Hearthstone, where you kind of keep monsters a little bit longer, or Magic the Gathering, where you tend to keep monsters on the field a lot more often. Seeing the field emptied fairly quickly, I feel like, is kind of an ideal turn of events. And with these simple decks, that's why so much of your deck is just full of monsters, and it's just all about the summoning of monsters and playing of monsters. Whereas technically in Magic the Gathering, everything is magic, everything is a spell. Even the creatures you summon are actually just golems that you're summoning out of the ether. What does this one do? Go ahead and set that. And then summon that. And then go into battle for a direct attack for 2,000 to turn my fate around a little bit. Remember, the goal here though was to summon do we want to activate this card? No. Yeah, if the goal is to learn about summoning level 6 or higher characters, we didn't do that. I like how the field just gets more and more broken up. I haven't seen that in a collectible card game before. And there's kind of a great idea there to try and just keep the player's eyes in this basic region. They've put a lot of effort here. There's a lot more visual polish here than you would really have expected compared to the previous kind of low effort Yu-Gi-Oh games we've seen. I think Magic the Gathering Arena moving more towards a better visual motif. Also, let's see. Is there any reason to summon this? I mean, we might as well just have fun with it. XYZ material from this card. It can make a second attack in a row. So let's just have some fun here. We might as well do this because you might have a mission to do that. And your fusion summon is put here. I don't know why. I can't summon anything else. Alright, so move on to battle phase. Let's see, this plays from the graveyard to give more attack to this one. So yeah, decent game, little tutorial game, but it had nothing to do with the idea of summoning a level 6 or level 7. But maybe that's how this is just going to play out, is that they're going to just give you a strategy tip and then have you play a game. And then by winning the game, you earn the next duel to get the next tip. Fair enough. That definitely did not feel scripted, because that was too weird and wild for it to have been a scripted game. What are monster battle positions? Well, you better know if you've been playing with them for at least 2 games. Yeah, ignoring the ranked games I've played, of which I've only played 2, this would have been at least the 3rd game you would have played by now. When a monster is summoned from the hand, it will be placed in face-up attack condition. If you want to declare an attack with a monster, it must be in that position. When you set a monster from the hand, it will be placed in the face-down defense position. When a monster is in the face-down defense position but is attacked by an opponent, it will be changed to the face-up defense position. Most card games don't have you turning your cards 90 degrees as much as Yu-Gi-Oh does. A lot of them don't do that at all. How is damage calculated? The position of the monsters determines the damage. Attack versus attack. The attack of both monsters will be used. Attack versus defense. The attack of the monster in the attack position versus the defense monster. The defense of the monster in the defense position. In case you didn't know that. These are very basic things. But this is also the tutorial stuff that we kind of needed to be told. Right. That's one face-up monster. That's a field effect. Go ahead and set that. Set that. Summon this one. If this card battles a non-normal monster, it gains 500 attack during the damage step only. So actually, there's a chance that's better. You might as well just activate this now. Right now. Move over the battle phase. I don't want the confirmation there, so it'd be very nice to find out that there's a way to turn that off. So that was 1800 plus the 500, so that was 2300 damage, whereas this card is a pretty great card because it's a 2000 defense and it does double battle damage to your opponent. So if it actually was able to ever do a direct attack, it would do 600 damage, or even better, if somebody attacked it with less than 2000 attack, it would do double that damage. So if this didn't have the ability to gain an extra 500, this would have done 400 damage back to me. And it would have left me in quite the quagmire because I wouldn't be able to destroy it without using another card. Unfortunately, I outthought them or outplayed them. Let's see. Don't activate that card yet. When you get down to smaller amounts, it starts to become somewhat simple game sometimes. Activate the effect, and then we'll give it to that one. Yeah. On your second or third turn in a lot of games, you may not have as much to do because you've already laid down the groundwork for everything, and now it's just a matter of trying to reach that point. Let's go ahead and summon this to start with. Look at this. I mean, I guess you can set that as a new trap card. And we can potentially special summon this. Non-effect monsters gain 500 attack. Also effect monsters your opponent controls lose 500 attack. Let's see. I don't think we're at the point there where we would want to go that route. Activate this effect and gain more attack again. That had an effect that did 500 damage to me, but who cares? At 700 attack, there's almost nothing you could do to recover from this. Particularly if you have like 3 characters. And this almost makes sense where the idea of Duel Links comes from. Where they were limiting you to just having 3 characters. In most scenarios, I think you probably could live within the boundaries of having only 3 characters on the field, but the problem is the game originally always had 5 slots for cards, and particularly when you're doing traps and spells, you miss those extra couple of slots. If I didn't have this card, I would have had a hard time defeating all these defense characters. This guy could have still done it for us, but these two couldn't have. Oh, I probably should have special summoned something just in case it is counting the number of special summons I've done, but whatever. We'll just make our way through these tutorials as fast as possible. Feels like clicking anywhere on the screen would also should just like close these pop-up messages. I really shouldn't have to click the OK button. The information they're giving me is not that vital or important. Ideally, for a game like this, you would only want the confirmation button when you're say purchasing something or deleting a deck, doing something that really can't be undone, but being just told information that you can't really act on should just be a pop-up that you can click anywhere on the screen to move forward. Yeah, theoretically this has controller support, but I mean, I guess we could try that just to see what that would feel like. Let's move the mouse cursor in the corner. What are special summons? Special summons allow you to summon monsters to the field without normal summons either via the effect or monster reborn or other special method outlined by the rules. Special summon is an umbrella term for summoning methods that allow you to summon more than once per turn as long as their conditions are fulfilled. Unless stated otherwise on the card, you can choose to place the monster in either attack or defense in any monster zone when it is special summoned. Is there a specific reason why it would be better to put a character in a different monster zone? I don't know. Alright, well I just hit B and A and it's not doing anything. Suffice it to say, controller support does not seem like it really works, even though we're getting the prompts. Because, yeah, I am definitely pressing B right now, and it is not letting me close that menu. Whatever. The odds of anyone really wanting to play with a controller are pretty low. I could see a scenario where if you had like difficulty using a mouse, a disability or something like that, it might help that you have controller support. Or if you're just going to play so much of Yu-Gi-Oh that you're going to potentially lie in bed playing with a controller versus having a mouse and having to kind of have a mouse on a mouse pad and a desktop. All warrior monsters you control gain 200 attack for each monster you control. Okay. 1,000 attack for each monster your opponent controls. We may have to set this. Otherwise, we could attack here. I guess you can just put these in different slots. I don't know if there's a reason though. You don't probably want to use this card. Unless you see, during the end phase of your opponent's next turn, special summon that monster to your side of the field. So you could take the amount of attack a character has, get another monster on your field, potentially use it as a sacrifice to summon something bigger. Alright. Well, this should work for me. And then that puts me on the aggressive stance now. Clearly his strategy with this kind of card is going to be to try to get as many people on the field as fast as possible. Don't activate that effect yet. Don't activate the effect yet. Wait until he decides to activate an effect. Okay, so this guy would get potentially 400. Yeah. And then that would get this to 900 plus, I think, another 500. So, like, I really like how traps are used in this game compared to pretty much any other collectible card game, where there very rarely are traps, and there's often really very little reason not to just attack, even if the attack doesn't do any damages. Alright, well, summon that, activate its effect, make it lose some attack, move over to your battle phase, go ahead and activate its ability, but don't activate this trap. We'll keep that in our graveyard for later. You may notice you're getting different prompts in a row for some cards that can be activated on almost any action. Although I've seen it implemented a lot worse in previous Yu-Gi-Oh games. Let's see. Okay. Let's go ahead and activate that. Take the damage. Let's see. What does this one do? Tribute one monster and then target the opponent, a card your opponent controls, and destroy it. We might as well summon this one because this one is just going to be a defense card. Let's see. We might have an argument for a special summon though. 2600 I think would be better. Yeah, let's just do it. Yeah. It's slightly better. Reason to use this card at the moment? No, I don't think so. I don't think this card has flying or anything. It almost seems like the reason there's a new extra slot where your fusion character is simply so that you can come on, what is it asking me? Is it my turn? Oh, because I played that previous spell, and so this is me stealing a card from his graveyard. That's why I was confused. That didn't really make a lot of sense as to how it was visually presenting itself. Okay. So, set character here, and then I think we tribute a monster here and destroy this card. Sure, activate the effect and power up this card. And I could certainly attack him with his own card, but there's really no reason to do that. Nor does it feel like you get extra experience if you do more damage. Or it doesn't feel like you're going to get a lot of extra experience if you do more damage. Doesn't really feel like it would work that way. Yeah, it seems like you're going to get a fairly consistent amount of experience no matter what. Okay. We are getting cards in groups of 3 cards. Definitely is nicer than just potentially having to work your way over that. Let's see. Here we use a method called Synchro Monsters from this extra deck, Synchro Summon, on the practice. Unless the future duels towards the goal require you to put gems in and you're gambling at that point, I don't see a reason why this practice actually exists, but whatever. It gives you an excuse to not make the tutorials too long for people that just want to be done with it. And we'll have to see if you get extra rewards by doing these practices. I'm not sure I 100% understand Synchro Summons, but I kind of understand them. This is where we're getting to the point where I stopped paying attention to Yu-Gi-Oh! As a card game. This summoning method allows you to bring out synchro monsters. You must first gather to the field the materials listed in the synchro monster you want to summon. Every synchro monster will need a kind of monster called a tuner to be summoned, but the specific monsters you need will depend on each synchro monster. So can't double click here to get that text bigger. Try synchro summoning for yourself. During the main phase you'll need to send your face-up materials, including the necessary tuners, to the graveyard. Their combined levels must add up to the level of the synchro monster you want to summon from your extras deck, which I guess this is called an extra deck now. It used to be called a fusion deck, but that was the original version of how you would play Yu-Gi-Oh! Frankly, there was a point in the very beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you could just kind of fusion summon something really, really fast and make something super powerful. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Cartoon and anime basically made up the card game and the effects of the card game, and yeah, I guess this is more of a tutorial than normal. Double summon, interesting. And because of that, because of the fact that they because they were just making up things to make the cartoon and the anime of Yu-Gi-Oh! Interesting, they had to then retroactively write the cards in such a way that felt like they played at least somewhat like how it showed up on the cartoon. Whereas the logical way to have done that certainly would have been to write the card rules and the description of what the card does first, and then move to animating it later, but it's not what happened. And in all fairness, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game was actually supposed to be a much darker experience that was going to be a connection of many different games, and they did try to bring that idea into the anime for like a brief season with Dungeon Dice Monsters, but nobody was really interested in that. Let's see. Which one do we want? I'm gonna go with this one because there's more safety in this one. But yeah, the whole Shadow Realm nonsense in the cartoon was literally always supposed to mean just murdering people. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Was effectively just murdering a lot of people. And yeah, there was a lot more acceptance of violence and guns and things in the Japanese version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Versus the more censored version in the Western world. Okay, so doing that practice gave me 600 gems, so that was totally worth doing. And then, yeah, you just have another practice for 600 gems, so you would basically be a fool not to do these practices. They're scripted, they're short, you're not playing the full 8,000 life points. What are Xyz Summons? I have no idea at this level. You must first gather to the field the number of monsters listed in the XYZ description. 2 level 4 monsters listed here. The levels of each material must match the XYZ's monster's rank in numerical order, numerical value. So you would need, for this 4-star monster, 4 stars between 2 characters, which would be fairly easy to do. Most XYZ monsters require 2 monsters of the same level, but others require 3 or more. Some may also require specific types or attributes. Interesting. During the main phase, you'll need to overlay 2 or more face-up monsters of the same level on the field that you would like to summon the XYZ monster. Then you can summon when those conditions have been met. Monsters that have been stacked underneath the XYZ monster became its materials, which can be used to activate its effects. So it's not just like you tribute them, they literally are under the card. Maybe that's why there's this extra pile here. Like, that doesn't really make full sense either. So, why did it just not start me on the second turn instead of having the opponent in the first turn? Okay. Try summoning this one. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one level 4 or lower monster from your hand. Also, after that, change this card to defense position. Okay. Activate its ability. Select this card. Now we can Xyz summon. Our choices are: you can detach one material from the card, negate the attack if this card is targeting an attack while it has no material. Destroy this card for 2,500. Or you can detach 2 materials from this card. This card attack becomes double the original attack until the ends of your opponents. Let's select that one. I will again wish they'd get rid of the confirmation. Now it still feels like you can just put it anywhere you want. Over the battle phase, attack. Didn't activate its ability though, so I guess you had to activate its ability first. Another easy 600 gems, so now I am back to potentially going and opening another 10 packs of another secret packs of cards, or whatever they were called. Secret packs, I think is what they were called, yeah. Back 2 secret packs just for doing this first tutorial. If anything, what we're going to find out though is that there isn't much more tutorials to do. Ideally, you would like to see a ridiculous amount of tutorials, and you could just all day, every day, go through tutorials to grind for gems, or you could replay the tutorials to grind for gems. But yeah, at a certain point, unless these solo games really are going to tell us the lore and backstory of all 6,000 cards in Yu-Gi-Oh!, they're going to run out of solo tutorial style solo games, whether they're tutorial or they're just lore games. I guess there'd be a big difference between something that's just telling you lore versus something telling you how the game actually plays. Now, I've heard of Xyz Summons, I think. I have not heard Ward 1 of Pendulum Summons. The summoning method allows you to special summon multiple monsters at once. Pendulum monsters are marked with special numbers called pendulum scales, which is important for pendulum summoning. They also have pendulum effects that can be used when they're being treated as a spell cards. This might be the thing that makes it important as far as having the right placement of cards, but I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm coughing. Still slightly trying to recover from a cough. During your main phase, activate 2 pendulum monsters from your hand by placing one in the leftmost spell trap zone and the other in the rightmost zone. Then when you can special summon as many monsters as you want from your hand, as long as their levels fall between the numbers noted in the pendulum scales. Pendulum Summons different from special summon methods like Synchro Summons in the way that you can perform that you can only perform them once. So you can do Pendulum Summons more than once, I'm assuming. Right. So yeah, it just always starts your opponent and then ends their turn, so it's turn 2. And there's really no need for that. Okay. Activate a Pendulum Summon as a spell card. So this one is kind of hard to read. It says 8. Is it 8 on both sides? What does P scale mean? Okay. Seems like pendulum scales have to be on the left or right of the spell cards and they can't be in the middle. So that's a 1. And if I understand this right, then this is an 8. And the left and right numbers, 2 pendulums, monsters are in the left and right ends of your trap spell zones, which this really gives some new life to your trap zones and does something different with cards. Try Pendulum Summon. How do you do that? Pendulum Summoning, just click. And which ones has more attack? We'll just select this one. Actually, we can select both of them. That's quite the animation. So far we haven't seen a reason why you would need specific creatures in specific slots on this upper row. Go ahead and skip the battle phases. While we're here, let's see. No, you can't change any of those settings while in game. So we'd have to go back to the main menu to try and see if we can skip some of these confirmations. Pretty much want all of them skipped. So I learned something new, and I think that's a pretty cool concept. Which, you know, Hearthstone, every time we got a new expansion, would give you maybe one kind of cool concept that it would stick with for maybe 2 or 3 expansions after that, then abandon. But often it would just give you like 3 mediocre concepts. Magic the Gathering barely ever gives you a new concept that's that interesting, from my opinion. I think Magic the Gathering players in particular are stuck in the mud because they just want to keep on playing the same game they were playing 10 years ago. Whereas Yu-Gi-Oh! Clearly is all about just the power creep and adding more features and just getting crazier and crazier. And I kind of love it for that. What is Link Summon? Again, don't have a clue. Seems like there's some special symbols here. The summon method allows you to bring out link monsters To summon a link monster, you will need the number of materials equal to the amount of link arrows it has, which also equal its link rating. Also, they will also gain a range of effects depending on what zones their link arrows point to and what cards are in those zones. Interesting. During your main phase, send the face-up monsters on your field that you want to use as link materials to the graveyard, then summon a link monster whose conditions have been met from your extra deck. Normally one monster will count as one link material, but for link monsters, their link rating will denote how many materials they can be counted as. Not sure I fully understand that, but let's see. There's seemingly going to be a lot more reading here. Link Slayer. Special summon Link Slayer. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn, you can discard up to 2 cards, then target that many spells and traps on the field. Alright. Then special summon Backup Secretary. If you control a Cyburst monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only do it once per turn. 2 or more monsters are on your field. Try Link Summon. Right. This is a Cyburst card. Okay. So we only have 1 card. 2 Cyburst monsters. Neither player can target monsters as card points to with the card effects. Those monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. So what cards does this point to then? The ones on the left and right? I guess? Because I assume it's not pointing to every card in every direction. That would be kind of silly. Ooh. Seems like you can only put it here, though. Special summon Link Infraflyer. Now. You can special summon this card from your hand to summon the Link monster points. You can only special summon Link Infraflyer once per turn. I feel like I messed up here. Link 2 enables usage of 2 link materials. Either this tutorial is wrong, or I played wrong there. Because it didn't feel like I could summon that down here, which that's what I was thinking I would do. So unless maybe I was supposed to put it over here, and then it would have let me special summon there. But I guess this isn't going to matter. Gain 500 attack for each monster opponent points to. When the opponent activates a card effect, you can tribute summon a monster to negate it. So that's going to count as not just 1, but 2. And I guess we'll just put that there. which effectively means this placement would be pointing towards one of the opponent's cards. If there was an opponent card there. But I guess I now know why these exist. These spots exist. They make a little bit more sense now. You wouldn't really want to put one of them down here and then it's just like pointing at two trap cards in some scenarios. We still have yet to gain anything here. And yeah, doesn't feel like there's any cost to play these duels, so just play them. Now, arguably, you probably should have played a Dueled and practiced and Dueled and practiced, but if you actually didn't know how the cards worked, then it would make a lot of sense to do the practice first. Although it doesn't seem like it matters too much because with every duel or practice game, you are getting more pop-ups and bits of information. This is the kind of stuff, though, you would almost expect to pop up as reminders while you're connecting to online games, and it doesn't seem like this game does that, and that's probably a mistake. Just a general reminder every now and then what the cards do, even if it feels like it's stupid basic information that anybody who's played 5 games of Yu-Gi-Oh would know. It's not terrible to just refresh people's minds of the exact wording of what the cards say, because people could get a little off. Arguments could certainly sprout up if you're not always refreshing yourself on the rules. That is one of the major problems with playing collectible card games in the real world, is it's not like there's going to be a panel of judges between two kids playing a collectible card game. So arguments about what the rules are or how the rules should be interpreted can pop up. It would almost certainly happens in tournaments too. Other than normal monsters with yellow borders, there are also monsters that possess special effects working similar to spell or trap cards. There are many ways to use monster effects. Not only can you activate and use effects like Mystic Huddler, but there are also effects that you can use continuously as long as the monster's on the field. Good to know. They're not giving you a lot of detail there, but whatever. The generic idea of monster cards is more all they can really say, because if they said anything else, it would be a little too specific. Like, every effect card does something different. So he just special summoned something. I guess the question here is, do we have any desire to place another card down? Probably not. Although placing trap cards down is usually fairly safe. Let's see. Well, this card didn't activate, so probably don't need to activate that yet. Yeah, you're probably fine now to set this card, and let's see, 16 there. Do we want to special summon this Hmm. Hmm. I don't think we're ready for that. I think we want to go ahead and just go to battle phase. Attack here. And then just continue to destroy things. It feels like the opponent's deck here is full of effect monsters, but okay. Activate that effect. Summon that on my field, and then I will sacrifice that. I'll also play Call of the Haunted, which if I remember right, yeah, this would just summon a card from a graveyard. Meanwhile, summon that. So we just did a direct attack and it didn't activate the spell, which means that the activation requirement for the spell card or trap card must be fairly limited. Something along the lines of having to chain it with some other action. Face up defensive position, face up attack position, might as well be attack position. And finally we have an effect card from our own draw. Okay. See how this works for us. It works perfectly fine. There you go. Let's go ahead and activate this. And I mean, it would be kind of silly to do this, but why not? Sacrifice this card. Destroy this card. Go ahead and chain this effect. Bring that card right back to the field. Okay. So now we've got trouble. This will give us 500 more. Attack this. That didn't work. I thought I could activate this. No, that's not the same card as I was thinking of. Alright, so then we move to main phase 2 and special summon something. $21, $22, $26. 26 would be the right choice. We'll definitely sacrifice that one. Yes, definitely sacrifice that one. And I don't know what's different about this card versus this card. I guess it's just their character class. This is a warrior tuner card, where this is just a psychic normal card. Change the defense positions. No, no, no. Now this card will be in your field forever. It's taking a spot, so in the future you might want to be careful around playing too many of those, but I don't think you'd ever actually fill up all five of your slots and run into a problem. Okay. Could special summon something else. Summon that. I don't want to summon either one of those. Hope that works for me. He destroyed my character. There you go, direct attack for 0. Let's see if we can summon something now. I guess we'll select this one, do this, and then do this. Well, I guess I could have maybe done some more damage. Interesting that it summoned it in attack position. Only. Didn't give me the option to put it in defense position. Which I wonder if you just can't put things in defense position when they're upfield like this. We haven't seen any flip summon cards. So I almost wonder if there's a certain level. Oh, that was stupid. Should have put it here. Oh, I wonder if there aren't just that many flip summon cards that are in use anymore. I mean, I guess we'll take a risk here. If this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by opponent's card, you can target one non-effect monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Yeah, I don't think there's a reason to attack for that. Let's see. The bigger question would be, is there a reason? I mean, we can attack his attack there. And then I guess I can't special summon anything else because I need it to be face up. Unless I could have flipped that back to attack position. Which maybe. Yeah, it highlights these cards when you draw them, but it doesn't bring them up over here. Go ahead and flip summon that. Go ahead and just activate this effect. And then, no, put it here. There we go. And then we'll go there with this one. Which means I could have attacked with this one. And we'll just show off by doing as much damage as possible. And it does the whole final blow animation, but I don't think final blow is really anything in Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't think there's a specific phrase that is ever used in the rules called final blow, or that there'd be any reward or effect that could be activated only during a final blow. This isn't moving particularly super fast, but it is going fairly quickly here. We're an hour and 40 minutes into this episode. So it says, make sure you keep your hand topped up. You can use many different cards to get ahead in Duel, and by activating spell and trap cards and summoning monsters. If you find stuck or running low on cards in your hand, you can use cards like Reinforcement of the Army or the Warrior Returning Alive to add cards to your hand, or Upstart Goblin to draw more. Once your hand is replenished, you may find new ways to break out of your dilemma and turn the duel around. Now, arguably, all card strategy kind of indicates that if you're putting a card in a deck that draws another card, then you probably don't have very good cards, because they're almost certainly for that one card of 40 you could have had a better card that did something better. But particularly in Yu-Gi-Oh, the opposite can be true, because you could have an Exodia deck full of spells to draw more cards until you have all 5 pieces of Exodia, and then you automatically win the game. You don't even have to summon them or put them on the field unless they've changed that rule. And that is probably one of the craziest ways to win the game, and you really don't see that in any other card game. But I like the idea of Exodia. It doesn't get played enough for it to really be a problem. It is kind of a dumb strategy that only people who want to play a dumb game against and be silly would play. Okay. Gain attack now. Right, this one is gonna gain 700 attack. Okay, well then with his 700 attack he'd be at 1900, so then we'll just go ahead and activate this effect and increase my attack to counter that. And we probably don't want to do this because it wouldn't undo the effect. This says you destroy the target, then you set one spell or trap card from your hand. So yeah, you don't want to do that. It doesn't say it negates the effect. And all that did was stop them from attacking that turn. Okay. Activate this And we kind of have to destroy this. Let's not activate that effect. Go ahead and set that. Go ahead and summon this. And move over to the battle phase. So yeah, we've turned the momentum around. No, I don't want to tribute my card to destroy whatever this is. And I guess you just go ahead and summon that. And I assume 21 is not better. Yeah, I wouldn't want to summon that yet. Do I want to buff myself up? No, not yet. We'll keep that in our back pocket. Yeah. I have to point out, though, this specific duel is an 8,000 life point duel. And yes, I'm playing against an AI, but I have played against AIs in Shadowverse and Magic the Gathering, and I think even Hearthstone, where a duel like this would take forever. 15, 20, 30 minutes just to do a standard duel. It is fairly lovely to get back to what is maybe not super fair, but definitely works when you have the momentum to win or in 2 or 3 turns. Shadowverse is pretty awful about that, where you really won't win the game until you're somewhere around the 9th or 10th turn, and so you have a better chance of just hoping you get somebody disconnecting because of bad networks than you have of actually winning a game fast, in a fast manner. This is just like really great to be able to win like this, at least in the tutorial. Maybe I will never see this in a real game, but at least in a tutorial, but it's so nice to just be burning through this really fast. Now, the only thing I could suspect is maybe when we get to this goal, they'll give us a real challenge. What is this? It's a field part, which I think is just a decoration of the playmat. That's what I would assume it is. It may very well just be a decoration of this. It almost be interesting if it was a part of a new playmat and you collected, say, 5 parts of a new playmat and then it unlocked. What is a chain? A chain is created when you activate effects of a card in response to the activation of another card effect. For example, there are many counter traps that you can activate and chain onto a card activation or effect in order to negate it. A list of the cards you can chain will be displayed when possible for you to chain a card. Then you can choose whether or not you want to chain a card. I will also say, so far so good as far as these cards actually working the way they say. It could be, for Yu-Gi-Oh in particular, fairly difficult to let's see. Guess we probably just want this. Yeah, it can be very difficult for Yu-Gi-Oh! To be programmed to actually activate and work with effects. Because their effects are fairly crazy. You're not really going to make a system on top of systems with Yu-Gi-Oh! You're going to have to do a lot more bespoke programming that requires you to write special code for specific cards. This guy just discarded his entire hand to destroy all cards on the field. Right, well, if that's going to be the case, we might as well tribute summon this and try and chain that. It's probably not going to work, but it was worth a try. Final Destiny is like a really good card. And I guess I am now benefited by not having put this down on the field. Although I don't think I could have set it as a trap card anyways, since it's a field spell. But yeah, there is definitely the possibility of cheating in Yu-Gi-Oh! In which you could put a monster card down like a trap card, which is, I don't believe, allowed. Yeah, it would make an argument for there being different kinds of backs for traps and spell cards versus monster cards versus field cards, but they all have the same backs. Plus, you still don't solve that problem because a lot of people on the pro level playing any card game would double sleeve the cards and you wouldn't be able to see the backs anyways. They'd put them in a sleeved plastic sleeve with a different backing. So I guess the only thing you could do is there could be a requirement in tournaments to turn all cards face up at the end of the game. Which I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly a requirement. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you have to turn all the cards face up and shuffle your deck. In between games. Although you would have to at some point turn them face down also, and then shuffle your deck more. Well, I guess you can just activate this effect. Now, it's got nothing on the field, so we will be just a few shy of a full attack there, or full win. This Final Destiny requires you to discard 5 cards, so even if he had another copy of that, he'd have to wait until he had a draw to be able to play it. Sure, why not? Might as well add insult to injury. Yeah. I will say, it's been nearly 2 hours just really doing this and a little bit of, and one ranked game and a little bit of shopping. And this feels about as much as I'd be willing to play. So yeah, 8, 9, 10, 11 duels, with several of them being shorter duels, is about the right amount. And we're going to get a whole mate character by completing that goal. Oh, it actually wasn't actually a requirement. So the gate's clear. What does that mean? Yeah, I don't know what that is supposed to really mean, that a gate is clear. We can't go back and play it. We didn't get any of these resources. And then this menu goes away when you're here. This Duel Live Watch Now is something, obviously. So what did we do? We found a secret pack, which got us 20 more gems. We won 10 games in solo mode, which is going to get us more stuff. I have no idea what I would even want to craft with these crafting points yet. So I probably will just sit on those. And we are really now kind of rolling in the dough a lot more than thought we would be. Proceed to solo gate 2. We've done 2 out of 10. So, and we have a legacy pack ticket, which I kind of want to hold on to the legacy pack tickets, and until I have pretty much all of them. I definitely do have a concern though that we will like max out everything. Oh, this does give us Synchro of Unity as a deck. Interesting. Does anything else give us a deck? And I assume if you had started with Synchro of Unity as the starter deck you picked, you would have gotten a different deck. It does definitely feel like you're gonna run out of opportunity to get gems fairly quickly. So either these are gonna have to be reset or expanded on, or they're gonna have to be replaced with more rewards. Like the daily logins and such will only get you so far. The campaign. Right. So there was a notification here under issues. Is it there? The scroll bar for the pendulum effect text cannot be used with a controller. Display issue with duel rooms. Game becomes unplayable when a specific button is pressed during the draw phase. I will also say that it's probably not a big deal, but when I changed my monitor to stream like Netflix because it's a smart TV, it often messes up games on my PC because I have like 3 monitors and it moves things all around and gets confused. The recommended quality options could be high resolution if it wanted to be. Although, is high resolution really worth it? Let's see, self chain is on, automatic activation confirmation. You automatically receive an activation confirmation at the timing of setting any cards. Yeah. I think auto is good there. Auto replacement. Let's see, auto activation order. Automatically display descriptions when it's summoned or activated. Let's try that. Show number of spectators, hide that. We don't really need that. Display battle phase details. Hide that. Command placement. Let's see. Command icons will be displayed when cards have been selected and will be shown in their set position. Command icons will be displayed when cards have been selected. They will be shown above their chosen area. Let's try set there. It doesn't feel like you can get past these confirmations though. Let's see. Yeah, so there does feel like there's room for improvement there. We have 5,000 gems. And there might be an argument to buying these packs instead, but I don't think there's really a great argument for that. So we have 444, 344. Can we get something that is 445? If we're just gonna pick something 533. As far as just the pips, I assume the pips are 544 would be the void, the infinite void. 1, 534. Alright, well, let's just do this then. 10 packs here. And yeah, we are definitely spending a lot of gems. And so we'll kind of want to go through this fairly quickly. Notice there really isn't an opportunity to, by default, speed up the animation other than just clicking skip in total. You can't get rid of these animations. But this is, frankly, sometimes fun if you can just guarantee that this won't lead to you actually spending real world money. Most people don't have that level of control. That is Cyber Dragon. That is a very good card, but you'd need a dragon deck to synchronize with it. I feel like you increase your odds of getting silvers if you click on things individually. So you might want to do that. Although more than likely, as soon as you buy it, it knows what cards you've gotten, and this animation is just there to make you feel like you have some control in a world where you don't have any control. Since buying 10 decks seems to unlock 10 more secret decks or secret packs that you can open, we may see that there is kind of a limited number of secret packs that exist, and so we may just go in circles always, just unlocking the same packs. And we may fairly quickly find out that it's not going to be as beneficial to keep buying these secret packs if we've got all the cards that we can get from them. It might be that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has kind of less variety in these secret packs, enough so that they that you don't need to buy as many, whereas something like Magic the Gathering, you need to buy a box or 2 or 3 to try and even have a chance to get all the cards. Maybe buying one whole box of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards is actually excessive. With every new expansion, they may come out with a lot more expansions instead. Yeah, if you told me Yu-Gi-Oh! Came out with like 12 expansions a year, whereas Magic maybe does 5 or 6 a year, I would believe you. Although I don't know if that's really true. I am just baselessly speculating. But like this card, it feels like we've gotten 2 or 3 of those already. Even though it's being labeled as new. Glory on Wings might be an interesting one. Yeah, we got 3 of these cards. 3 of these cards. Although one of them is a fancy foil version. So yeah, it definitely feels like that. If we look here, we have a decent amount of these cards. It would not really make a lot of sense to continue going down this route. We clearly still have plenty of these standard cards to collect. So yeah, really might not make sense to keep doing that. What are the new things that we just unlocked? I think we had this one, and now we have this one, which this is just 3/3/3 to get Harpy Ladies. Harpy Ladies, definitely interesting decks in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime cartoon, but clearly not very powerful cards. One of the things the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cartoon did, I think, way better than most cartoons around a game is they showed off. Yugi had a lot of friends, and his friends could play different styles, even if those styles actually weren't competitive, and it would still be interesting to kind of watch them. Whereas Yugimoto pretty much won every game he played. The friends could play and lose with not any real consequence. If you compare that to, say, Pokemon, you only have Brock and Misty and the characters that eventually replace Brock and Misty. Although I think Brock eventually did come back on the Pokemon cartoon, and there's very little emphasis of showing Brock or Misty actually use their Pokemon in a Pokemon battle, and Ash Ketchum, of course, pretty much always succeeds in every battle, or learns a lesson that's important through failure. So, if anything, they probably should have introduced even more friends as the seasons went on to Yugi. And they introduce enemies sometimes that are just like one-off decks that you only see once or twice. But the Yugi decks and his friends' decks kind of level up every time you see them battle again. So the first time you would have seen Yugi's friend with the Harpy Ladies, her deck would have been particularly weak, and then the second time you would see that she has slightly better Harpy Ladies cards, and that gave them an excuse to release new cards in that same theme. Artistically, the Yu-Gi-Oh cards are very consistent, which is great. Thematically, they are all over the place, but that's fine. You definitely have a lot of magic users, and definitely a lot of more mechanic cyborg users, a lot of fantasy characters, some zombie characters, but they've consistently kept one artist, whereas Shadowverse has like 3 or 4 different artists, it feels like, and the themes are all over the place and the art is all over the place. So you look at 2 cards side by side and they potentially don't even feel like they're from the same game. What I am noticing is missing here is you're not getting rewards for buying card packs, whereas Magic the Gathering actually had a whole system there where you were rewarded for buying packs over time. So buying like 50 packs or buying 10 packs gives you experience to get another free pack to just keep you rewarded, even if you're opening packs that are giving you nothing but a bunch of duplicate cards. I should scroll down. Should have scrolled down there. But yeah, again, just opening like 10 packs gets you, it feels like halfway there, so maybe 20 packs is about the right amount if you were rolling in gems. In that time, that unlocked just this crystal Sepentry, which I really feel like these should just be, there's no reason for these to really be timed. We should probably check here and make sure there's not any overlaps happening, or not a lot of overlaps, because it is very possible, I suppose, that there would be overlaps, and I could be making huge mistakes here, and I might want to save the packs, although that definitely doesn't feel like a huge mistake. Every pack except for this one seems to be at a higher rarity. Although that being higher rarity doesn't guarantee that you're going to get a ultra rare. Apparently. Yeah, even this is a little too much to have to open so many packs at once. But now would be certainly the time to do this. What's weird is that this deck is labeled as a Master Duel deck, but I don't think they're the Master Duel cards we were opening before. So kind of feels like just everything is going to be labeled as Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Almost feels like maybe that's what they call their legacy game in the real world too, is Master Duel instead of just Yu-Gi-Oh! And then there still might be an emphasis to push other players to playing Duel Links in a real world format also. Feels definitely like it will be a while before we even are getting half of the cards that aren't new. Like, it definitely feels like we were. I remember this card. It is a flip effect. We're much more likely to just run out of gems before we run out of cards that we can get. And the real strategy would be to ideally have like one of every normal card. Although there might not really be any reason for that if you're going to start using dust that way. Plus the card creation points aren't transferable, so you're almost going to be forced to use your creation points when you have extra normal cards to make more normal cards. What's going to happen there, I guess, is you're going to have card crafting points in just major surplus when there's a new expansion. And instead of opening packs, why did I get like 2? Like that's even crazier. Maybe I got one for that and one for that, but I don't know. Yeah, if you just have a ton of crafting points when the new expansion happens, you might, without even opening a bunch of packs, all of a sudden just use the crafting points to get all the normal cards on day one. And if you continuously are still opening packs, you would potentially have extra dust for Toontastic would be one I kind of would love to get. Let's see, how did that work out for us? Kind of great. Should probably be picking and choosing more though. It probably would make a lot more sense to buy this one and then yeah, start moving down the ways. Like, I'm seeing these special decks and I recognize like these cards, and I recognize the character that would have played these and the strategy mostly around that. So there's a bit of nostalgia around that. But like, really, that Thousand Eyes Restrict is one of the ones you could get here. Relinquished. I definitely remember playing this card. Yeah, this is pretty much that deck. Kind of would love to have this deck. So should I pick it, or should I just see the problem here is that you're just not going to be able to get all of these. Like, there's no way you're gonna be able to get everything. So I think for my own entertainment, we probably want to get maybe Shifting Gears and Toontastic. It does seem like we are starting to run out of new things. Let's go ahead and just start with Toontastic. So, yeah. We may very well just start seeing decks repeat themselves over and over again. The thing I'd like to see happen here, though, is for them to give me a deck recipe with the first one of these that you purchase. Because it doesn't feel like there's a real concept connected to that. So you're getting all these cards, and then you're going to have to either look at somebody else's pre-built deck or make your own deck from scratch, and it would just kind of make more sense for them to give you a recipe that is not 100% full but gets you down the way of playing this deck is in such the way that you would expect to play it. I could also be making a huge mistake here, because it's very possible that Toon decks are completely unplayable in modern times, and my nostalgia has just caused me to open a bunch of cards that are not worth it. And this is definitely a deck that I think you have to have Toon World as a card to really be able to play. And it's not like they're going to give you Toon World guaranteed. Yeah, I don't know what I click on that automatically makes some of these open up. Is it an accidental double click? No. Is it? It's not even a drag. The music playing during the card opening packs maybe is a little excessive. We get a little annoying as you're trying to just focus on opening card packs. What's that one called? Toon Terror. Found new card packs. So did we get Toon World? I don't think we did. Was Toon World on offer? Why does it tell you the name here, or say Toontastic down here? But yeah, I don't know. What's the deal with that? But yeah, that doesn't seem like we got Dueled, and we've now unlocked 4 more. What were the featured cards? Toon Kingdom. It's not the one I think you need. But I don't see a Toon World. I see Shadow Toon. Here it is, Toon World. Continuous spell. Activate this card by paying 1,000 life points. And we didn't get any of them. And why do you need Toon World? I think because a lot of these activate their effects specifically by having Toon World in play. We do have Relinquished, but we didn't get Thousand Eyes Restrict, which requires Thousand Eyes Idle. Where's Thousand Eyes Idle? Millennium Eyes Restrict. We didn't get either. Golden Eyes Idol. Some of these cards I don't recognize. Black Illusion Ritual. Required also to summon Relinquished. So this card is actually fairly useless without this. Which pretty much does mean that everything I just got very possibly is very unplayable without having all the cards. And that may be true for a lot of cards I'm getting, is that I'm just getting a very weird bundle of cards that are not actually going to be that useful. And then, yeah, we are resetting the timers on a lot of them, and we are unlocking more of them. So I think what I wanted was another deck that I recognized, which was the Shifting Gears deck, which would be slightly better than getting the Harpy Ladies deck. But I think I just want to go for fun and get the Harpy Ladies deck. Harpy Ladies in particular, characters that were censored in their art. You can see how in that image that was there, they've kind of covered up the skin that was more exposed originally. I believe there were also originally in the Harpy Ladies Metal Brazier, I believe there were spiked nipples on that outfit too. Let's just make sure we don't have a bunch of these cards already. We don't. So there are 10 packs. This will be the last one we can afford until I do more solo play. Which, yeah, we'll end this episode. We'll play one more ranked game, then we'll end this episode, and by focusing that way, next episode we'll do more of the solo and unlock some more gems if they're available to us. Um, the big question certainly is still going to be how much solo quests are there, and how many solo quests will be left to do, say, a month from now, after we've kind of tried to burn through all of this. It's very possible this game does not have any longevity in it if you are just going to play solo. And they just don't add any new content to these solo missions, and thus you don't have those great opportunities to get more gems. It's kind of a good system though. Have them do the tutorials, have the player do tutorials and solos to get crystals that are literally only really useful for buying packs, which you only really need to play in ranked. So it almost makes sense to lock first time players behind only doing solo, but it totally makes sense why you wouldn't want to do that, because if you've got a friend that you want to play online of this game, you shouldn't force that friend to have to create a new account, go through 10-15 hours of solo content before they can even play you. They won't put up with that. If anything, even the about hour you have to go through for tutorials between downloading 5 gigs and playing 1 or 2 tutorial games is a little excessive if somebody just wants to hop in and play their friend and they already know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Maybe there was a skip button there, but there was definitely no skip button that passed the downloads. I would heavily suspect we're going to see this show up on the Nintendo Switch also. I don't think the graphics are pushing themselves that hard, although they do look way better than Duel Links and any of the previous Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this shows up on the Switch, and that's why it has controller support and is pretty playable even on the Switch in a mobile way. So we unlocked 2 more, and we unlocked ourselves. It almost feels like you're guaranteed to unlock yourself and expand the time you can buy packs. So you might get a little bit of a help there by, if you had say 5,000, or really you probably would only need about 3,000 or 4,000 gems to buy one of these packs, and then have 24 hours to spend 3,000 or 4,000 on the same pack to make sure you have all of it. Although I'm not sure you really even need to buy more than 20 packs of any of these expansions. This did fairly well to get me somewhere close to where I wanted to be. The only thing that again sucks though is that you're not getting a deck with that. Like you would expect with each of these, you would be given some kind of structured deck that you could buy. Let's see. I don't know at this point if it makes any sense to potentially try and purchase a second copy of the structured deck to just get 3 copies of these newer cards. I don't think it does. I don't think it does one bit. Like, just get 1 of each structured decks as they come out, and as long as these don't recycle or spin around too fast, should be fine. Honestly, I might be rolling in so much gems that it almost would start to make sense to get different play fields and have the play fields randomize. But I'm not sure they do randomize. That would be a concern. Certainly. Like, where do you get your playfield options? Let's see. Playfields, not an option. We can move from bronze to silver, which I think bronze is better. Icon frame 3, icon frame 1. So apparently there's a icon frame 2 somewhere. Doesn't feel like you're gonna unlock titles very often. We can go ahead and switch that guy over. But fields specifically don't feel like something you can change, so they probably just randomize between the two. And we found more secret packs, so we've gotten more gems. I almost wonder if there are only 100 secret packs in total. So that leaves us at 950. Yeah. It weirdly does feel like, though, you're gonna do this one and either it's gonna unlock some more or that's gonna be it. So that may be it. Also need to do a duel live. I don't see any reason to live stream somebody else dueling, though. Selection pack. Added Rivals of Legends, Stalwart, Force. The selection pack is centered around key themed cards and highly versatile cards. March 22 is, I guess, when it expires. So we got a couple of months. Let's do one ranked game. Well, no, actually what I wanted to do, and it's kind of easy to just miss how important these buttons are because they're so hidden. Let's see. I guess you go to your deck, and then you have some structured decks here that we don't own. So Power of the Dragon, we don't own anything. Synchro of Unity, we will get that deck. Air, we don't own anything. If I was anywhere close to this, I would copy these decks over. But I literally don't have any of these cards, which I think this really highlights just how many cards exist. Okay, this is new. The Magician of Pendulum, and this is new. We Contract Universe. Of course, I don't really want to look at the cards this way. Create a new deck, I guess, is how you get to your cards, which seems like kind of a crazy way to get to your cards. Okay. How do we disenchant the extras? Am I in the wrong place? Dismantle all extra cards. Okay. Dismantle 4 more cards into 3 cards. 3 of each of the following cards will remain basic, non-foil finish, glossy finish, and royal finish. Interesting. So I could dismantle something for a couple for 50 and a couple for 60, and I think that's fine. So we'll do that. And then normal cards. Let's see. Normal cards that we don't own. Okay. Wow. I don't understand. I can't possibly only own this many normal cards. That would be insane. So what's the other list of cards that's not being shown? Forbidden cards? Wow, there may just not be that many normal cards. Which at a certain point, that very well may be the case. It's just don't bother with them. Don't have that many. Rarity in normal. Maybe that's what I need to do, is look under that category. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. So you have normal class monsters, but then you also have normal cards. Alright, so sort by the number owned. What would it cost to generate Exodia? Sure. This generated, and then this generated, and then this generated, and then this generated. I hope I'm not wasting a lot here to do that. Could have other ways. Gotten it from the Great Olds, which is currently locked. Oh, I crafted like a foil version of that? I don't get why I crafted a foil version. Did I just get lucky and get a foil version when I crafted it? That seems weird. And see, this is going to be one of those examples where having a normal version and a foil version and then a even higher version of a card you can only have one of in your deck is going to be ridiculous. Let's see if we can just do I have to spell things right? Exodia Necrosis. Contract with Exodia. Probably a higher rarity than that. Yeah. This one. Generate. basic foil, finished non-foil. And then what is this? One free pool of the Great Olds. Sure. Cool. Did I get a one free pool because I summoned that one specific card? Or did I get one because I got all of Exodia there? And I got me new cards for the most part and unlocked another thing. Now, if I wanted to open 10 packs here of these featured cards, which I definitely would, I need to quickly figure out how to get some more gems, which shouldn't be a problem actually. So we spent some crafting points, that gave us some crafting points. We dismantled some things, that gives us some other crafting points. These are not getting replaced with things, unfortunately. Yeah. If I'd known that specifically crafting specific cards might unlock a secret pack, there clearly is something here where you could cheat the system a lot better than even I was suggesting originally. Instead of buying a bundle and then just unlocking a bunch of secret packs, it seems like you could buy a bunch of the normal packs until you have enough extra crafting points, or just doing the tutorial until you have enough crafting points to craft specific cards. So there is going to be some kind of walkthrough online, I think fairly quickly, that tells you go through the tutorial, get these crafting points, probably unless these old god cards are just absolutely useless nowadays, probably unlock the Great Olds and then spend all of your gems on this. Like buy 20, 30, maybe even 40,000 gems worth of these to just make sure you get these cards that are highly desirable, because they are big deals, certainly in the anime. And one thing I will say about real world Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that I don't feel like these god cards were particularly difficult to get either nowadays. Like, they didn't hand out only 10 copies of the god cards to people who won tournaments or anything crazy like that. They may have had a little bit of limitation to them, but if anything, I think they may have been really, really generous as far as giving away god cards. When you bought big bundles of cards. Something that's so visually attractive and overpowered almost certainly needs to be incredibly prevalent and easy to get for a card game to succeed, versus potentially like having pay to win scenarios even in the real world, where whoever can spend thousands of dollars on a single card is guaranteed to win. That's not what you want to have happen. I definitely hope that in the solo stories at some point we are just playing the decks from the anime and reliving at least the first series of the anime. I'll have no nostalgia for any of the later Yu-Gi-Oh cartoons, but even at that, reliving those duels feels like the thing you would want to do. Plus, you don't really have to script too much there. You already know what the decks would have been in the show, so just put those two decks together and let people play. I'll also say I've yet to see any like brand new cards stand out. Like, it might be that the brand new most recent expansion is way better and more powerful cards than anything else, but visually they're not standing out, and I haven't played enough to see Interesting. As your 10-pack purchase had no ultra rares, your next 10-pack purchase of this will be guaranteed to have at least one ultra rare. Well, that's not particularly fair. What if I don't have enough gold for that? For another purchase? Yeah, I can't help but think maybe if I just crafted Exodia once. I would have unlocked this. Ultra rare guaranteed in 10 packs. Well, notice that it says that. So you do get a slight reward if you get totally screwed up in opening 10 packs. That being said, it's kind of a tight argument whether you need to open 10 more packs of this expansion. That being said, Obelisk the Tormentor, Slifer the Sky Dragon, and the Winged Dragon of Ra are the 3 god cards. And then the Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere Mode, the Winged Dragon of Ra Immortal Phoenix. Yeah. These are some of the biggest cards of the first series of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I can't help but assume that they still, if you can play them, are pretty good. Let's see. Some of these traps are kind of like continuous traps that protect you no matter what. And here's the explanation. If you have right leg of the Forbidden One, left leg, right arm, left arm, in addition to this card in your hand, you win the duel. Just automatically. This guy is 40,000 attack and defense, or 4,000 attack and defense. So, on top of that, he has some other effects. This card, I believe its attack is based on the amount of cards. Yeah. It gains 1,000 attack and defense for each card in your hand. So, yeah. It could be potentially really, really powerful. There is also no maximum amount of cards you can have in your hand in Yu-Gi-Oh! And here you pay until you have only 100 life points left, and then the card gains that amounts of life points, so potentially 7,900 life points just by default if you start with 8,000 life points, but you might actually be able to get your life points even higher. Alright, well, I definitely know what I would spend my next 1,000 gems on, although the question really is going to come down to am I going to potentially spend the next 3,000 or 4,000 gems on this one deck and just hope that's the right move. Like, there really isn't a great way to see all cards. Yeah. You don't even see names of decks here. It's just labeled as a public deck. They don't want to let you name them, so you can't put something rude in the title, I'd assume, is the idea there. So all you can do is set it as a specific picture, and maybe the picture would be an indication. Why is there a face down card here? That seems weird. Is there a face down card in all of these? No. Yeah, it's just not really a great system to get into your decks and your card lists. But kind of obvious that there should be another option here that just says cards and takes you to the cards very fast. Let's do one duel. It's been 3 hours, but let's see. Do we want to play Link Generation? Change deck. We will try this one. And then seems like your deck determines the background, the item, whatever this is, and whatever this is. Let's see. Well, where would you change that stuff, though? These decks do have names. Detailed display, rarity display, simplified display. Yeah, I don't know how you change any of this, but whatever. Searching for an opponent, 30-second countdown. Jumps in fairly quickly. Yeah, there really isn't a lot of time here for loads to show indications and hints, but you almost wonder if in the actual game there might be enough time to put some hints and things that would interest you. Alright, do we have a pendulum card? 3 and 8. Alright, well, yeah, pendulum scale 8. And then pendulum scale 3. And then Pendulum Summon that. So it doesn't, I guess, matter which sides they're on. Let's see, go ahead and set that. And then go ahead and summon that. Okay. If we were going to special summon this, which is 25. Don't think we have any need to do that yet. Opponent gained 400 life points when I summon this. What's this do? Let's go and affect this. Yes. Do this. Let's see. 100, 600, 2000. Face up attack position. Is he gonna go for just straight 2600 damage? Is destroying a lot of things. But are you gonna attack? See how this works. So do we want to special summon this, or I think we do. And then I think we want to attack with this. And then probably want to go to main phase 2 and see if we can special summon. But apparently we can't. So let's go ahead and change that to defense position and then end the turn. Yeah, these are definitely not cards I'm particularly familiar with. Kind of feels like you should probably build up your Pendulum Zone and leave it there and not summon things out of the Pendulum Zone. But let's see, 1200. Gonna go ahead and summon that. And you can't bring things out of the Pendulum Zone. Still can't special summon either, which makes me wonder if there's something about these pendulum monsters that makes them so they can't be used as tribute summons. Like, ideally we would have 1,000 gems by the old gods, be guaranteed ultra rares, and because we're guaranteed ultra rares, we get all the ultra rares, or that would be really what we would want to see happen. I don't think that is guaranteed to happen. Well, don't look like anything else happened there. This feels a little slow because I've been playing for 3 hours, but really isn't that slow. Is he gonna do a 2,000 to 2,000 attack? He might. So you can definitely see there's a danger here around putting a pendulum character in the pendulum area. When this card's normal summoned, yes, let's go ahead and do that. And let's take a 6 character, I think, if we can. We're gonna assume that the 6 character is the best of our options. Why can't I normal summon? I have to wait till next turn, I guess. Yeah. I think we probably have this. It's just going to be a matter if he can stall or play a bunch of cards. I guess he can't because he surrendered. Which, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take those victories. And so, immediately we are jumping back up now 1 more tier. That's an annoying sound effect character. So there might be an argument. Yeah. I hope these event duels don't cost gems. They very possibly will. Let's see. Game settings, audio, sound effects. Yeah, I don't think we can do anything with that. I think what we have to do is swap this guy, because he just makes some annoying sound effects. I've never even seen this rescue rabbit. Yeah, it's less annoying sound effects. So what did we finish this time? It's like everything we're doing is finishing off something. 20 XP for the daily complete. We still need to activate a spell card for the daily. 100 XP for 100 gems for that. Yeah. With the exception of the login bonus and the Duel Live, there's increasingly very little you can get done now. And this lifetime unlimited missions, well, they're called unlimited missions, so you'd almost assume that they would repeat and reset when you've done everything. That would be very nice, certainly. We have a new Karibo icon. And 400 gems. Yeah. If increasing to like level 50 all of a sudden reset and then it was like increased to level 100, or just every time you leveled up after 50 you were given a legacy pack ticket, that would be fine. To proceed to the solo gate is the one that really feels weird. Like, I don't see 10 solo missions that you could actually beat. So we're still short a little bit. And then we're having to jump around quite a bit to collect things, because they've got the battle pass on top of everything else. Yeah. And I don't foresee it being particularly difficult to get to level 100 if we're already at level 10. I do think it gets a little bit more difficult as it goes up, but I think we can probably get to level 100 fairly well as long as we just keep on playing. Definitely gonna make it to level 50 as long as we keep on playing. Yeah. Did we miss some? Apparently we did. Some more crafting points. I feel like, though, since this is a whole new launch, there should have been something in our gift box. Also, it doesn't really feel like there is a way to redeem any codes or anything. Yeah, we may. There's nothing in the shop like that where you could type in a code and get anything free. There's nothing in the shop other than buying gems, which that's kind of nice, but or nothing in that gem secondary shop other than buying gems, but yeah, feels like code redemption would be something you would want to have as a feature. People going to tournaments in the real world, people potentially buying real world packs of Yu-Gi-Oh, being able to trade that in for a free digital draw. That feels fairly fair, something you'd want to see. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.